Afternoon, my beloved sisters and brothers. It is I, your girl, Dr. Shonna.
Yo, 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 yo.
We're talking about this so-called Black and Brown coalition. Now, those of you guys who've been following me for a while, I put a poll out. And in this poll, I asked a question. What's up, fam? There go my boy Herbert is on. What's up, fam? I asked the question, is there a Black and Brown coalition? And is this coalition beneficial for Black and Brown people? And the poll has officially ended today with 94% of the viewers saying, hell no, there is no coalition. And a whopping 6% saying, hell yes, we believe it exists. We making things happen. Now, this was out of 127 votes, and this is great. First of all, I thought we was only going to get 100 people to participate, but we got 127 people showed up for this poll. And this is very important that we discuss this, because when I'm looking at issues in our community that divides us, that divides Black sisters and brothers from each other, whether you are an American born, meaning descended from enslaved Africans, whether you came here from the Caribbean or you have family line in the Caribbean, whether you have come here from the continent in and of itself, Mother Africa, or you are hailing over from the UK, we are divided people. And rightfully so, because we're not monolithic, right? So we all don't share the same thoughts, the same opinions and whatnot. And guess what? Latinos, the brown people, are divided as well. But when it comes to saying that we have a coalition that exists between us two, meaning we get together on issues that are concerning our community and we work together collectively so that we can fight against power forces, I'm not sure if such a thing exists. So where is this Black and Brown coalition? I wanted to really understand this. So last night, I had a conversation with my daughter. And I said to my daughter, is there a Black and Brown coalition? And she had no idea what I was talking about. You know, she's a millennial. She's somebody who would be counted as a millennial or maybe Gen Z. She's a cusper. And when I explained to her what it was, she started laughing. And my daughter says, no, a Black and Brown coalition does not exist. She said, now, if you think about it in terms of how you grew up talking about me and how I brought them into my environment where I'm from, that is the Bronx, New York. I don't live in the Bronx right now, but I'm from the Bronx. I still go back to the Bronx. That's my hometown. Never going to neglect my hometown. She said, if we think about how you were raised, and we think about our family members that are not literally our blood family, but we consider them family, I can see how people with that mindset might look at it as a coalition. And she said, but it's not. That is just anecdotal, meaning that is just a case study. That is a small specific thing that cannot be generalized across the globe. It cannot be generalized across the nation. But when you think about it, with what is happening in our country and what has been happening in our country since forever, there is no coalition. Let me point to you some things that I mean before I get into a research study. Now, there was a chief, and he's just one case, but this happens across the globe. So I'm going to need y'all to let me know if y'all can relate to this, right? But there is a police chief, or an ex-police chief, because now he's serving 3 years in prison, and his name is Raimundo Addison, or Arciano. Arciano is his last name. And he is out of Miami. And what happened is there was this police chief that had him and a select few officers, and they all got found guilty and they all are serving time, had sought to pin some crimes on Black people because this chief wanted to bring down his crime rate in terms of statistics, and he needed an effective way of doing it. So he colluded with some other officers to choose Black people who had a history of crimes to pin crimes that they did not commit on them in an effort to drive down their crime rate. Now, we can't take the Bow Terrace, my little block, and apply it to, let's say, Washington Heights in New York City, or let's say Los Angeles in California, where the fights between blacks and Hispanics are great. We can't take a situation that's small and apply it across the nation and say there's a coalition. But I get it. I get it. I understand why some people want to say this thing exists. Because again, we like symbolism. We like things that are symbolic. We like things that make us feel good, but we got to get out of those emotional feel good stages. And we have to really critically analyze what we are experiencing and why it matters. Now, if you are in a university, you want to find a whole bunch of black and brown coalitions and colleges and universities, because they're fighting against a systemic issue in a small population, just the university in and of itself, where both black people are outnumbered and most definitely Hispanics. But just because that happens in universities doesn't mean you can apply it to the nation. You cannot take that and apply it to all of America. Make sense what I'm saying? But here's why some of these coalitions are forming, like such as in Toledo. These little coalitions are forming because what they are doing is they're trying to identify so-called common problems, such as police relationships, right? So how do police communicate or interact or engage in black and brown communities? We already know, especially white police officers, especially them. It includes Hispanic and black police officers too, but especially white police officers. We already know that the treatment is nasty. So they may come together in Toledo, right? In the city of Toledo, to form a little coalition to fight against the police. They might. I don't know if that coalition is effective, but I found them. They might come together in terms of housing situations, or when it comes to neighborhood safety, such as lights and crime in the community as a whole. Maybe they might come together for something like that. In Toledo, they're coming together to boycott electronic cigarettes, but that's about it. That's about it. That's not a coalition. So here's the thing. These coalitions, they focus on things that have been identified as so-called neutral things. And these coalitions have been orchestrated by people, primarily people in politics, who are playing the game of chess. And oftentimes, I'm going to say 90-something% of the time, the people in politics who are playing hard at this chess game, they're not going to like me, but that's okay. That's okay. Are Democrats. See, y'all ain't got to like me. Y'all ain't got to like me. I'm good. I'm good. Right? Because I don't identify as a Republican nor a Democrat. Right? I do what I want to do. I vote for whoever I want to vote for. And if you ain't speaking to my people, and if you're not inviting my people to a conversation for a goddamn conversation, inviting my people to the table for a goddamn conversation, then I play chess and I withhold my votes because I understand the games that you guys are playing. And hopefully today I can show my people the games that they play with us. So when you understand that this is a chess game, when you understand that the only thing they want from you, whether you are a Latino, brown, or you are a black person, the only thing they want from you is a vote. That is it. That is it. They don't want you to talk about your specific issues because they don't care about that. They don't want anything that's going to cause them to have conversations that either black people or brown people will identify as divisive. So instead, they push this so-called coalition on neutral topics to solicit your vote.